Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching the Vegan Proteins channel. My name is Alice Robison. I'm a coach here at Vegan Proteins and a natural bikini bodybuilder. And I'm actually in the middle of a prep right now. I'm so excited and I'm actually just a few weeks out from my show. Today, I wanted to teach you one of my favorite recipes that I've been having regularly during this prep. It's a vegan chicken queso-dilla. And in case you have not heard, we're getting ready to start one of our infamous 12-week fat loss challenges. And it starts on February 5th, guys. We only run these challenges a couple of times a year, and spots are limited. We teach you all the skills you need to burn fat and gain muscle all at the same time throughout this course. And one lucky winner will get 90 days of one-on-one coaching for free. Our creme de la creme 100% custom coaching service. And if you sign up today, we are actually running a special. It's our early bird sign up discount. Don't miss out on this, guys. Check it out and make sure you reserve your spot today. Now onto the recipe. I will talk to you soon. Cheese was one of my favorite foods before going vegan in 2018, possibly my all-time favorite food though. So of course, I love to try all of the cool new vegan cheeses that get released in stores, but most of those are not super prep friendly, obvious. So to make up for that, I'm always experimenting with new vegan cheese recipes at home that are lower in fat and just more macro friendly in general. So if you're like me and you loved cheese at one point in time, you're gonna like my recipes because a lot of times I'm talking about cheese and making my own vegan cheese. So during prep, I lean hard on things like high protein, low carb wraps, no oil stir fries, bean bowls, and I've also been having a blast trying all the new high protein cereals that are coming out these days. Cereal just makes me happy. Nothing else to say there. But this particular cheese sauce is good on any of those wraps I make or the bean bowls. It's also great as a dip with just some sliced cucumber, or you can throw it in with some high protein elbow noodles for a macro friendly vegan mac and cheese. The chicken quesadilla is just my favorite way to have it thus far. That's why I wanted to share it with you guys today. So here are the ingredients. It's gonna be 1 block of silken tofu. I'm using the Simple Truth brand, which is basically one of Kroger's store brands. A lot of the Simple Truth products are organic, and I always recommend having organic tofu. This brand of silken tofu has a good protein to fat ratio and tastes very smooth. That's why it's one of my favorites. Second ingredient, and probably the secret ingredient, is going to be the PB2 brand powdered cashew butter. PB2 is well known for their powdered peanut butter, but in my love of vegan cheeses, I was hunting on Amazon for some unique cheesy ingredients, and I stumbled upon this. It lets you get that awesome cashew cheese flavor with less fat. So we use 4 tablespoons of powdered cashew butter. Next, we do add a little bit of regular cashew butter because, let's be real, cheese is no good if it has 0 fat, guys. No one would want to eat it. But we use a lot more of the powdered cashew butter in this recipe than we do the regular cashew butter. It's only 1 tablespoon. And then 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast. I'm obsessed with Nooch and try to use it whenever I humanly possibly can. It's a complete protein and has such unique flavor. I absolutely adore Nooch. And the rest is easy. We've got 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. We've got 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour to make that queso just wonderfully thick, just like the real thing. 2 teaspoons of iodized salt, or salt to taste if that's too much for you guys, and 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And the optional, almost last ingredient is going to be protein powder. I always recommend True Nutrition brand protein powders because they have very high quality protein powders. I make a custom blend, which is something unique that you can do on the True Nutrition website. I do a 70% pea protein and 30% rice protein mix for the excellent amino acid ratio. I know it's high quality because in my experience, lots of low quality pea proteins that are sort of cheaper. They might have an odor or like an overwhelming taste, but the True Nutrition pea protein blend is very clean and very fresh and very light in my opinion. For this queso recipe, you would want to choose an unflavored protein powder, absolutely. And I add 1.5 scoops, which might be easier to weigh, but it's 51 grams. The reason that I add protein powder is because we do heat up this queso on the stove, so heating it up helps it dissolve and blend super well into the cheese sauce. I am of the opinion that it's a good idea to keep lots of protein options around when you're on a cut. You don't want to reach the end of your day and be more than 10 grams under your protein goals. So having something like this around is just a great alternative to just maybe wolfing down some tofurkey slices or something like that late at night, in my opinion. It just gives you some options. And who doesn't love a late night cheese snack, right? And also, I do sometimes like to add some water, a little bit of water, to help everything sort of come together better in the blender. It'll just be about 1/2 cup of water at most, but keep in mind, the end goal is to cook most of this water out. Okay, so let's get everything into the blender. Whenever we're blending stuff, you want to try to add the most volume of like wet ingredients first so that we don't get stuff caked on the bottom or any clumping. So in this case, add the tofu first. Okay, I'm just gonna pour a teeny bit of water in to try and get some of the dry stuff off the sides of the blender, and maybe also use my rubber spatula to sort of push the stuff down. I would, again, add no more than 1/2 cup of water at most to this total. Now, the next step is going to be to pour all of this into your saucepan. So we're gonna set the stove to medium low heat, because if your sauce is too thick, then it's gonna start boiling and it's gonna start shooting out little bombs of hot cheese sauce into the air, guys. So always use medium to low heat with this recipe. We're gonna stir it almost constantly so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And you'll know it's done when you pick up your whisk out of the sauce and a lot of it sticks to it, or it'll fall back into the pot in a nice queso sauce kind of way, in a clump. Now keep in mind, the tapioca starch will continue to work after you remove it from the heat. Remember that. So you don't want it to be completely thickened up while it's on the stove. Otherwise, the finished product will just be too thick. Kind of like when queso starts to sit and get cold, like at the Mexican restaurant. So here we go. This is already a pretty thick batch, so I won't have to cook this for too long. But I'd say the longest I've had to cook it for thus far, probably five minutes-ish. It doesn't take long. We really just want to activate that tapioca flour to start working its magic in thickening up your sauce. And we're also trying to dissolve the protein powder so that we don't have any kind of gritty flavor. See how it's starting to thicken up? Now that we have our amazing queso sauce done, I do like to weigh it. Put your storage container on your scale and turn it on so that you can let it zero out. And then pour all the sauce into the dish, ideally using a rubber spatula. Then go ahead and enter your weight into your nutrition app. I use Chronometer or sometimes MyFitnessPal. You can enter in the weight when you create a custom recipe. Now, here are the rest of the ingredients for the quesadilla itself. I personally love Morningstar Farms chicken strips, but you could also use something like Daring Chicken if you can't find the chicken strips. So I weigh out 80 grams of chicken strips, and then I throw it into the air fryer at 370 degrees for 8 or 9 minutes. You could easily also cook it on the skillet if you don't have an air fryer though. And then I'll use a low carb wrap. I love Olay Extreme Wellness Wraps, but there are a ton of good low carb wraps out there right now. Every tortilla brand is making their own version. So choose your favorite one with the macros that work best for you. Here's what the Olay wraps look like for reference. Last, spinach. I use about 1/2 cup of spinach. So I'll grab a non-stick skillet and lay down the tortilla, and then lay the spinach out on top of the tortilla. Doesn't have to be perfect. So we're gonna turn the stove heat on to medium. Some tortillas will brown and others won't. The Olay wraps don't really brown that well on my stove in my experience. So I just cook it until I notice the spinach starting to wilt a bit, and I'll check to make sure that the tortilla is not burning on the bottom. When it's done, you can slide it off of the skillet onto a plate. In a separate bowl, go ahead and weigh out however much cheese sauce you want. I have been using about 75 grams to 100 grams, but for the sake of the macros in this recipe, I counted 75 grams. And then we're gonna throw the chicken into that cheese sauce bowl and coat all of it. Then using your rubber spatula, go ahead and lay the chicken out on your tortilla so it can be folded up nicely. Then I like to sprinkle a little black pepper on top. There you have it. That's what it's gonna look like open-faced. So let's give it a try. Oh my gosh, so good. I can eat this every single day, I swear. And I have been eating the queso sauce probably a few different times a week on lots of different wraps. So the macros for this guy are gonna be 260 calories, 35 grams of protein, I'm gonna use 80 grams of the Morningstar Farms chicken strips, 25 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat. Let me know if you try it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and check out our future YouTube videos and recipes. Thanks again for watching, guys. My name is Alice Robison, vegan coach and bikini bodybuilder, and I will talk to you soon. That's about... No, Phoebe.